Hello, BAME Farm fans. It is the last Wednesday of April 2021, and it's been slightly less muddy. And we're out here planting sweet corn. Right before it rains a bunch later today and tomorrow. So hopefully it can swim. Hopefully it doesn't float out of the ground. The good news is, if the camera shows off, at least this area that we're planting sweet corn in this year, we rotate it from an area way out back to this area out front where we can see from the front door. And this area rolls much better. So we got the 29, pulling the 800 planter, putting in 4 rows of wide corn at a time. We're gonna start the season off with 2 varieties, just because we don't like the weather. We usually would probably plant at least 4 varieties. Oh hey, it's a plate planter. Nothing to suck or blow and go wrong. All mechanics. This variety is either Sweet Rhythm or Espresso. 2 early season varieties that can withstand the cold we are bound to still have. And in our area here in Southwest Ohio, because we're having this nice dry week at the end of April, I can almost guarantee you that it will somehow be too wet until after, well after Mother's Day. It's just the way it goes. It's like we got a funnel. If it's raining in the Dakotas, the rain will make its way to Ohio. If it's raining in Texas, the rain will still make its way to Ohio. Especially south of I-70. If the rain comes out of the north, you gotta get the northern part of the state. But if there's any rain anywhere south and west, it'll get us too. So we're coming to a little bit of a low spot. This field will be great if it's wet this year, because it's got good roll to get the water away. It's always about getting the water away. Should be a farmer who likes rain, right? Well, I hate it most days. Usually gets in the way. Oh, so we're making the first pass out here. These varieties are in the low 70s for maturity. So best guess, May's 30 days, June's another 30 days, we'll say on average. So that's 60 days right now. We got a few days left to April. Hopefully by about July 10th, we'll be seeing the first corn come off of this. And I put the starter fertilizer on, shoved off to the side. I guess the new trendy thing is to call it 2x2. Or for the folks who have been, using these old planters for long enough, it's been around. You don't need a new planter with fancy new math terms to tell you about putting starter fertilizer on at the beginning of the year. We do have our notes on this box to denote which sprockets to use. The sweet corn, we only plant about 20,000, maybe a little less. I try not to crowd it. It likes its space. And that's the reason why we do wide rows. So hopefully the folks who always ask about wide rows are watching this video. It's a lot easier to walk down and pick a wide row. The problem with this field is that yes, it rolls. And there will be certain portions of this patch that may be ready before others, like here on the slope, compared to this high spot or the other dips across the field. Now we're gonna plant 8 rows of each variety. That should get us just about an acre. Typically, we will do at least 4, maybe 5 plantings starting now and get us until July 4th roughly for the last planting. And that should be enough sweet corn to get us until at least middle, definitely probably 3rd week of September. And some years maybe almost into October. Well, we're not planting it too deep, because like I said, it's gonna be cold and, well, it'll be a little less warm and definitely wet, so the moisture will be there. We don't want to bury it deep. And see, this is a weird hillside where when it dries, it turns into rocks because of the clay. We'd probably just go ahead and make some bricks out of this and go build ourselves a house. If it's wet, this hillside may do pretty good. If it's dry, it may not be happy all the time. And it looks like this is how you do the seed check. There's seeds there, seeds there, seeds there. You lift it up on the move, there's another seed, and voila, that's how we know that every row is dropping seed. I guess we're good.
Leaving fertilizer all the way down.
Yeah. I guess we could check that too. Yep. See little granules of fertilizer dropped right there on that row. There's some more fertilizer granules. Those are really obvious. And there's some more right there. So we're gonna head back. When we get to the other end, we're gonna change plates for the other variety. So yeah, sweet corn's about 20,000. Field corn is about 28. Guess we don't go too crazy dumping out too much expensive seed. Give it some space, let it grow. Which unfortunately, say in a wide row, they got a lot of space between rows, good airflow to avoid some maybe disease pressures from the microclimate created when the plants start to canopy over. Like I would love to go to 20s, but 20s would be hard to pick sweet corn. And in the 30s, well, everybody does 30s. That's overrated. And I only want to do 20s because I'm getting really annoyed with the fertilizer boxes on this thing. Because fertilizer usually is followed by rust. And well, who likes rust? I hate rust. So definitely, that's one of my pet peeves on this thing, is just the fertilizer. So at 20-inch rows, it's close enough that you can just broadcast and you'll get full use of your fertilizer. You know, corn plants usually, they won't root out much past 10 inches. It's just the way they are. There might be a few stragglers, but most of the root mass is within 10 inches of the plant. So when you broadcast with 30-inch rows, you've got a 10-inch swath down the middle of the row where that fertilizer is gonna be waiting for the beans for next year, I guess, because the corn's gonna struggle to reach it. And well, if we do that with wide rows, there's gonna be a whole lot more space in between where the fertilizer's just gonna be sitting there looking pretty, waiting for the next crop of beans. Well, it's dry enough, we may not need the full capacity of the rice tires today. So we saw the disking with the new disc out here, and then Dad rototilled it last night. Our GPS system is working fantastically. It's digging in, making a nice furrow, good color difference between the dry soil on top and the moist soil underneath. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to corner the market on these double disc openers for this thing. So the problem we have is that it's April now, and like I said, we're gonna be planting sweet corn until about July 4th. So it's gonna spend over 2 months with fertilizer in those boxes. And it just eats those openers alive. They don't sit there and power wash it every time we come back, because I know next week we're gonna go out and get it all dirty again. Whew. Oh, we're almost getting close to the other end. We do have the insecticide boxes. Those have essentially just become toolboxes. Let's see. Left tire drives planter units. Right tire drives fertilizer. So depending upon how tight your arc is, if you make a left-hand turn, you'll get less seed but more fertilizer. If you have a right-hand arc, you'll get more seed and a little less fertilizer. But you do get more seeds in a crooked row, right? And these things always have a little bit of noise to them, and maybe the plate twisted in the box some. It does does get kind of annoying. Or there could be like a piece of dirt stuck behind the blades down low. This road seems to be quieter, so I'll zoom in on this one. I guess that's the end. Looks like the start of our previous rows there. A few small clumps of grass. Not really. Probably about right here. Okay. That is the official stopping point. That's been one variety of sweet corn planted. We're gonna switch plates. I think we've seen enough to call this an adventure. So we'll catch you guys later with more fun farming action.